Innovation, quality, and the widest possible access to the greatest possible number of people are the hallmarks of the University of Wolverhampton, acknowledged locally, nationally, and internationally. The institution was awarded its present status only 4 years ago, but the pedigree of those commitments has roots going back over 160 years. In the 19th century, Wolverhampton's dazzling reputation for exciting industrial development and excellence of manufacturing was beyond question. But shrewd and forward-thinking minds realized a basic truth, that success turned on the development and maintenance of a highly skilled workforce, constantly encouraged to develop their abilities and to improve their output and performance. Since the establishment of a Mechanics Institute in 1835, the demand for education in Wolverhampton has continually exceeded provision. It was this demand which led to the introduction of education classes at Wolverhampton Free Library in 1900, and in 1931, the creation of Wolverhampton and Stafford College of Technology. 2 years after, His Royal Highness Prince George laid the foundation stone, and it was complete, and still not big enough. It seems absolutely inevitable that when discussions began about founding polytechnics in the 1960s, Wolverhampton would be among the first in the bids to achieve such status. Inevitable, too, that in 1969, Wolverhampton Polytechnic should open its doors. The Polytechnic was thriving when the first whispers of a university began to circulate. Anyone familiar with Wolverhampton's history could have predicted what would happen. In 1992, it did. The founders of the 1835 Mechanics Institute would have approved. For today, the university is widely acknowledged as one of the most successful in the United Kingdom. From its early roots, the university has branched out. It now has over 23,000 students, a host of awards for innovation and quality, and projects as far apart as Siberia and the Solomon Islands. Locally, nationally, and internationally, the university continues to work closely with industry. It strives to produce graduates who have the practical, intellectual, and technological skills to meet the demands of the future. To achieve this end, the University of Wolverhampton has undertaken an ambitious project to improve still further the quality of the facilities and teaching available at all its campuses. One of the most visible signs of the university's commitment to innovation in education is Wolverhampton Science Park. Opened in 1995, the Science Park is a stimulating environment for the exchange of ideas between education and industry. This, along with new learning centres and halls of residence, will enable the University of Wolverhampton to continue to offer the same high-quality education to new generations of students. As the University of Wolverhampton prepares for the next millennium, it holds firm to the values which inspired the town's early educationalists. And determined to extend innovation and quality both in the UK and abroad, giving more people than ever, whatever their background and wherever they live, the chance to change their lives through study. Today's graduates leave the University of Wolverhampton with the skills and confidence to face the many challenges that the future will inevitably hold. They are safe in the knowledge that should they ever need to enhance their skills or change direction, the University of Wolverhampton will be there.
Good afternoon. Please be seated. Mr. Mayor, honoured guests, graduands, diplomates, award winners, ladies and gentlemen, may I very warmly welcome you to this congregation. At this ceremony, I shall have the pleasure of seeing all of the finalists from the School of Humanities and Social Sciences and from the Credit Accumulation and Transfer Scheme programmes who are being presented for their awards, and it is to them that I wish to say a few words first of all. I offer you my warm congratulations on your successes and my best wishes for the future, wherever your careers may take you in the future. You can be proud of your achievements and be assured the University of Wolverhampton is proud of you. We sincerely hope you enjoy this special day. This is very much your day of celebration, so please enjoy it to the full. But it is also a day of celebration for your families, partners and friends, all those who have supported your course of studies. They've shared your trials and tribulations on the way to your success, and now, quite rightly, they share in your success too. On your behalf, I wish to thank them and to congratulate them on the part they've played in your success. We are delighted that such a large number of parents and other relatives, partners and friends are with us here today. A very warm welcome to you all. I should also like to pay tribute to the staff of the university, whose efforts and commitment have contributed to the success of the finalists. It is particularly appropriate, of course, to acknowledge the work of the staff of the School of Humanities and Social Sciences who have been responsible for your particular programs of study. But the university has a staff of some 2,000, and it is through the dedication and endeavours of them all, the lecturers, the administrators, the support staff in all their different roles, that the university is able to provide the level and quality of services which make possible the academic success we're celebrating here today. At this congregation, honorary degrees are to be conferred on Professor Kutsev, Mr. Neville Soper, and Mr. John Nettles, and an honorary fellowship is to be conferred on Mr. Terry Venables. I have great pleasure in welcoming you and your families and other guests to the university and to this congregation. We are honoured by your presence. I am delighted too that numerous guests from overseas and from various governmental, industrial and commercial organisations have been able to accept our invitation to be with us here this afternoon. The university very much values its links with these bodies and with the local community, and is most appreciative of the support and encouragement which it receives from education and training agencies, from industry and commerce, and from the wider community locally, nationally and internationally. The university has a major commitment to serve the local and regional community, and we're proud of the university's associations with the borough of Dudley. And therefore it is a particular pleasure today to welcome Councillor Cody, the Mayor of Dudley, and unfortunately the Mayoress has not been able to join him, but we send our very best wishes to her. Three of the university's honorary fellows, Mrs. Maureen Hicks, Mr. George Seabrook, and Dr. Percy Young, are also with us. We value your continued support, and we welcome you and your guests here today. I now call upon Mrs. Lynn Copcutt, Pro-Vice-Chancellor, to present Mr. Terence Venables for the conferment of an honorary fellowship, after which Mr. Venables will respond.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you Mr. Terry Venables, on whom the Board of Governors and the Academic Board wish to confer an honorary fellowship. As a man whose outstanding achievements in football have maintained his high public profile, Terry Venables requires little introduction. He was a football crazy boy from Dagenham who started his career at Chelsea Football Club in 1958, rising to team captain at the tender age of 19, the youngest ever captain of a First Division club. He moved to Tottenham Hotspur in 1966, a 3-year stay that saw that club win the FA Cup final. This preceded his debut with Second Division Queen's Park Rangers, at a time when Terry Venables emerged as a novelist and as a writer of the hit television series Hazel. The turning point in his career came in the early 1970s, when Terry Venables the player became Terry Venables the coach. The charismatic leadership qualities that were apparent so early in his career came to the fore when he was appointed manager of Crystal Palace in 1976, taking the club from 3rd Division to the top of the 1st Division. He returned to Queen's Park Rangers as manager in 1980, and in his first 2 years, the club won the 2nd Division title, as well as reaching the 1982 Wembley Cup final. It was at this time that Terry Venables, always the innovator, scandalised the football world with his artificial playing surface project. 2 years later, he was to become manager at Barcelona, one of Europe's biggest football clubs, where he earned the affectionate nickname El Tel, and led the club to win the Spanish Championship in his first year and to the European Cup final the following year. By 1987, Terry Venables was back in Britain at White Hart Lane as manager of Tottenham Hotspur, which led to a record-breaking 8th FA Cup win in 1991, the year he was appointed chief executive of the club. In 1994, the man who had become the public's favourite contender for the role was offered the job of England team coach by the Football Association. He quickly earned the great respect of his players, producing an England team that after decades in the doldrums played with great confidence and passion during Euro '96 this year. Despite the presence of an ever-critical and sceptical sports media, Terry Venables earned the affection of the nation and the praise of the most hard-bitten commentators. Terry Venables is the only English player to have represented his country at all possible footballing levels: schoolboy, youth, amateur, under-23s, Football League and full international. He is a renaissance man of our times, combining unrivaled knowledge of the game with the roles of businessman, novelist, playwright, nightclub owner, singer and wit. Chancellor, it is my privilege to present Terry Frederick Venables for the conferment of the Honorary Fellowship.
It's warm in here, isn't it? I've got to say, I've not been in a room like this since I was in Ron Atkinson's bathroom. My Lord Shrewsbury, Vice-Chancellor, Pro-Vice-Chancellor, honoured guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege for me to be conferred with this honorary fellowship. I genuinely feel humbled to be receiving this recognition for my lifelong efforts in the game I love. Looking at you young graduates, there's no doubt in my mind that you must have worked very, very hard and long in your chosen fields to achieve the recognition you also richly deserve. Football is notorious for its usually short length of playing career and then followed by a lucky few by a wonderfully insecure future as coach and manager. I have been fortunate and more fortunate than others in football as I look back over my career, and hopefully it's not quite over yet. But now you're going to go out there into the real world, as they say, into the University of Hard Knocks, and I must say it's an area which is very difficult. You're going to have a lot of spirit, a lot of determination, and be positive for your successes, but don't forget, you've got to motivate yourself through the tough times too, and that's the only way that you're going to get there, and I'm sure you've been told that. If I can suggest one thing that's helped me is to identify the goal that you want to achieve and then communicate that clearly to your colleagues so that as a team you can move forward together in a single-minded manner with a common purpose. You're all at the start of your careers and some of you will have clear ideas of what is wanted of you and perhaps others a little less. All of you, however, now have a solid educational platform behind you, and that is something you can justly be proud of. No one ever be able to take that away from you. Something I would say I envy myself. You've got to remember, your business is you. I think it's very important that, and I've often said to players, look after your business before you can make the bigger business grow. And that business is you, yourself. I used to say to players, you're not looking after yourself well enough. Would you, if you had a corner shop, would you break the windows and throw the stock in the street and let someone steal it? Of course I wouldn't. I say, well, that's what you're doing. So you've got to prepare yourself and make sure that your business, you, is in top condition. And that might give you another 3 or 4 years extra in your careers, which could these days be a lot of money. Now, your particular field that you're in, you've got to make sure that you're prepared and make sure that you grow as a business, so therefore the people you work with grow alongside you. I think it's very important. You've got to make sure you've got your rules that you stick by through tough times. And some of the rules that we hear are often inaccurate. You should test them. Practice makes perfect. It's not true. In my opinion, practice makes permanent. Which means I was watching a player train one day and he was shooting at the goal and he kept missing. I said, are you practicing to score or practicing to miss? He said, well, I'm practicing to score, sir. I said, well, you're not. You keep missing. You can't be. You're practicing to miss. And what you've got to do, you've got to make sure you correct what you're doing before it's perfect. And to make it a little simpler for him, I said, if it was a golfer, if he slices his strike time after time, and you practice that 10 times a day, you're going to be brilliant at slicing. So until you're shown how to put your hand in the proper position and your body facing the right way, and you're at the centre of the fairway, then practice becomes perfect. So that should be for you too. So don't be practicing the wrong things, because if you do, you become brilliant at that, and that is exactly what you don't want. I'm a firm believer that if we as a country are to progress in whatever field, be it sport or business, then young people such as yourselves and your children have to be recognised as the future for the good of us all. Accordingly, investment in facilities and training is critical. Enable you to fulfil your potential. Very important. And you must be, above all, a great decision maker. This, as your seniors, if they make good decisions, they keep work for you. If you make good decisions for yourself, you progress quicker. And so I was asked once, are you interested in politics? I said, not at all. Because there's one thing for sure, the whole of this country know about politics, how to run the country, and how to run their football team. Whether it's Manchester United, whether it's the England team, everyone knows how to do that. And basically, the hardest thing is to say, what is the decisions you make? The only way you can make the proper decisions is to have all the information. If you haven't got the information, you can't do it. Someone said to me once, would you go into Falklands? I said, I've got my views, but I haven't got enough information. The powers to be have that information to make the right decision. And I'll give you an example. I had a letter sent to me when I was manager of the QPR, and the letter said, you must be the worst manager I've ever seen in my life. That wasn't a good start, and it gets worse. He said, Tony Curry is my favourite player and he's not in the team. He hits long passes, 30, 40 yards, right to the spot, scores goals from the same distances, short passes, great team player, screens the ball, strength. He's a wonderful, wonderful player. Please tell me why you are not picking Tony Curry. So I wrote back a letter and I said he's got a broken leg. And that's true. And the point I'm making is all the points he made about Tony Curry were brilliantly accurate. But he just lacked that one bit of information which weighed everything up completely wrong. So don't forget, make sure you've got it all before you make a tough, hard decision. It never ceases to amaze me, and it was touched on earlier, what human beings are capable of achieving if given the chance to flourish, and clearly you have started on your individual roads to achievements with the awards being conferred on you today. I am deeply honoured and touched, and I would like to thank all of you for allowing me to be a part of such a special day. As well as thanking you for making it such a memorable day for me. And don't forget, as I said earlier, be positive, but the tough times are particularly hard. And it was said to me quite recently, a very good friend of mine, he said to me, I know things look bad, but just remember, that doesn't destroy you completely will only make you stronger. And I believe that sincerely. And tuck that one alongside you, because there are days when you do feel low, and of course if you've destroyed completely, you won't have to worry about it. But if it doesn't destroy you completely, don't forget, it only makes you stronger. Again, I'd like to thank you very much, everyone here, and to you all today for accepting me, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Follow that, as they say. I now invite Dr. Wiley, the Pro-Vice-Chancellor, to present Mr. John Nettles for the conferment of the honorary degree of Master of Arts, to which Mr. Nettles will respond.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you John Nettles, on whom the Board of Governors and the Academic Board wish to confer an honorary degree of Master of Arts. The University is delighted to welcome John Nettles here today in order to celebrate with this conferment his many achievements in theatre and the media. John Nettles is an actor who has managed to bridge the frequently incompatible worlds of classical theatre and popular television. A fraught negotiation hilariously recounted in his semi-autobiography, Nudity in a Public Place. Accepting some early forays into public performance, he began his career with an honours degree in history from the University of Southampton and a considerable amount of experience of undergraduate theatre. He quickly developed a substantial reputation in repertory and national theatre, with a range of demanding roles drawn from the classical and modern repertoire. He has worked with the Royal Court under William Gaskell, the Traverse, Theatre 69, the Fortune Theatre, the Sheffield Crucible, the Derby Playhouse, and the Old Vic, playing such diverse roles as Jimmy Porter in Look Back in Anger, Feste in Twelfth Night, Brian in A Day in the Death of Joe Egg, Charles Surface in School for Scandal, and the title role in Buckley. John Nettles' well-known association with the Royal Shakespeare Company has been long-standing and has been productive of some outstanding performances, again remarkable for their diversity as well as the artistry of their interpretation. In 1981 he took part in the British production of The Hollow Crown, and thereafter played a variety of Shakespearean heroes and villains, besides a characteristically various list of modern roles, such as King Two in The Bundle and Harry Thompson in Wild Oats. In the recent season, he has further distinguished his career with critically acclaimed portrayals of Brutus in Julius Caesar and Projector in Johnson's The Devil is an Ass. While John Nettles was commanding leading roles in the live theatre, he was also developing a reputation in television, so that he progressed with alacrity from Granada's Family at War to the title role in BBC's Bergerac. Such was the success of this series, which ran from 1981 to 1990, that John Nettles is now synonymous with Jersey and stylish cars. That success, however, was by no means guaranteed, and largely attributable to the skill with which John Nettles developed and projected the character of a somewhat dour Jersey detective who consequently became a national icon and compulsive viewing for a world audience. John Nettles' career is hallmarked by a courage to experiment, to take on that which interests and challenges. It is unsurprising, therefore, that he is currently working with English Serenata, the university's resident ensemble, on a programme which incorporates both music and Shakespearean text. He appeared with them in a concert to celebrate the university's foundation in an arrangement of Walton's music for the film of Henry V, and they have since toured countrywide and abroad, most recently recording a collection of Shakespearean words and music for Czech TV. This is innovative professional collaboration at its best, and the university is honoured by the association. John Nettles brings to all his work a sharp intelligence and a well-honed craft, which enables him to span the ancient and modern, comedy and tragedy, stage and television. He has in abundance the academic's talent for inquiry and the actor's capacity for expression and interpretation. But his ability to range with such ease and consistency and such remarkable success across theatre, media and writing is unique to John Nettles. Chancellor, it is my privilege to present John Nettles for the conferment of the honorary degree of Master of Arts.
Chancellor, distinguished guests, members of the congregation, I am very fortunate to be here. The reason I may say that I was dour as Bergerac was because I was sulking because I didn't get the lead in Hazel. I was second in line for it, and Nicky Ball, damn his eyes, got it first. I didn't mind. I'm very conscious of the honor afforded me, and I thank you all for it. If only my old professor could see me now, he opined that I was to academicism what Beethoven was to ice skating. I'm doubly fortunate, and I want to share with you an experience which I offer you as a model, a salutary model of how in the midst of life we are very close to dangerous death. I have spent most of my time since I left the beautiful island of Jersey and the impossible leather coats and the even more imponderable red car. I have spent my time with the histrionically challenged down the road at Stratford-upon-Avon for the Royal Shakespeare Company, and very enjoyable it has been too. And our patron is HRH, Prince of Wales. A noble fellow. He does more than behave merely as a figurehead. He takes an active interest in what we do and how we do it. He's a keen critic and a great friend. Worthwhile quality in these troubled times. And he comes to see every play, and he brings his children as well. And he came to see The Winter's Tale, which I had the honor, I may say, of being in 2 or 3 years ago. And as was the custom, he lined us all up in our makeup afterwards, and we had to say hello to the great man. And he got to me and he said, "John, weren't you the man who played that Channel Islands detective?" And I thought I'd try a joke, and I said, "Yes, Beaujolais from Sark." And he said, "Yes, that's the fellow." And then he asked me, and this is where the tragedy could have occurred, ladies and gentlemen. He then asked me what I was going to do next. And I thought for a moment, and I considered very quickly, very rapidly, you will understand how my career was in the balance and that I might have need of advancement in my career later on as OBE and Sir, something like that. And I thought, should I tell the great man what I am doing next? And I thought, well, he is my prince. I owe him some fealty. And I said, "Sir, I'm appearing in The Merry Wives of Windsor." He said, "I don't think I'll come and see you." But he did. And he said he tried very, very hard to laugh afterwards. And I have not been summoned to the tower yet. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great, great privilege, as I've said. I started off my life in the lower half of the country, Cornwall, as child of the clay, brought up in the clay mines. Our ambitions didn't stretch further than Plymouth on a wet Sunday. And thanks to some wonderful teachers, I was pushed toward university, which you are just about to leave, most of you. And the gates of the world opened to me. School days are not the best days of your life, nor your days at university, come to think of it. Those are to come, and I hope you'll enjoy them. Thank you.
Professor Bennett, the Pro-Vice-Chancellor, will now present Professor Kutsev for the conferment of an honorary doctorate of social sciences, after which Professor Kutsev will be invited to respond.
I have the honor to present to you Professor Gennady Filipovich Shafronov-Kutsev, on whom the Board of Governors and the Academic Board of the University of Wolverhampton wish to confer an honorary degree of Doctor of Social Sciences. Professor Shafronov-Kutsev is rector of Tyumen State University in Siberia and a prominent sociologist, educationalist, and distinguished public servant. He is co-chairman of the Social Work Schools Consortium of the Russian Federation. He is a member of the Russian Academy of Natural Sciences and the Academy of Social Sciences of the Russian Federation. He has previously been Deputy Minister of Education in his country. He was responsible for the introduction and development of the social work profession in Russia. He was also responsible for the preparation of the curriculum and the development of training methods for these specialist professionals. Through his initiatives, sociology, political science and cultural studies courses were introduced into the curriculum of Russian institutions of higher education. Professor Shafronov-Kutsev is particularly well known for his work on the industrial and social development of Siberia and the far north of Russia. The development of many cities and of large areas of Siberia have benefited from Professor Shafronov-Kutsev's involvement. He has been particularly interested in the development of the education system in the smaller northern nations and in the concept of a college of the far north, a polar university. He is the author of over 70 scientific works. His books, New Cities, A Man in the North, and A Man in the Northern City, have been widely appreciated. He has been responsible for a wide range of research programs, including the social consequences of technological progress and the social, psychological and legal aspects of the consequences of the Chernobyl disaster. Professor Shafronov-Kutsev is widely respected within the University of Wolverhampton, both as a scholar in his own right and as the head of one of the university's major partner institutions. We have worked closely with Tyumen State University for a number of years in a wide range of collaborative ventures in Siberia and throughout Russia. We honor Professor Shafronov-Kutsev, and also we honor his institution for their high academic achievements, their innovation, their devotion to Siberia and the neighboring regions, and their effective partnership with the University of Wolverhampton. Chancellor, it is my privilege to present to you Professor Gennady Filipovich Shafronov-Kutsev for the conferment of the honorary degree of Doctor of Social Sciences.
Уважаемый господин канцлер,
Respected Chancellor,
уважаемые дамы и господа,
ladies and gentlemen,
это, наверное, первый прецедент из Сибири, а из нашего города и университета это точно, получить столь высокую степень почетного доктора Уилхэмптонского университета.
This is probably an unprecedented case for Siberia, for someone to receive such a high degree of the University of Wolverhampton.
Мне бы очень хотелось быть почетным доктором.
I would very much like to be an honorary doctor.
А по нечетным студентам вашего университета.
And not to mention that, I wouldn't mind being a student of your university.
Это нормальное состояние.
That's quite normal.
Университетский профессор остается профессором, пока он остается любопытным и любознательным.
A university professor can only remain a professor as long as he remains curious and thirsty for knowledge.
Когда он способен задавать вопросы «а почему?».
When you can still ask the question, why?
Я хочу напомнить, что ваш великий земляк увидел упавшее на землю яблоко и задумался, почему оно упало на землю.
Remember, it was someone in your country who first saw the apple falling and asked the question, why?
И что из этого получилось?
And what was the result?
Мне очень приятно быть в вашей стране.
I'm very much pleased to be in your country.
Мы хорошо знаем Англию,
We know England well.
вашу литературу.
We know your literature well.
Нас очень привлекают многие черты англичан,
We are very attracted by the English people.
как великой нации,
We consider you a great nation.
ваш здоровый консерватизм,
Your healthy conservatism,
вашу добротность во всем.
your good nature.
В России очень любят вашу поговорку «мой дом, моя крепость».
What we like in particular is you're saying, my home is my castle.
Мне особенно приятно находиться в Уилхэмптонском университете.
It is particularly pleasant for me to be in Wolverhampton University.
Это тот район, где началась промышленная революция.
This, after all, is the region where the Industrial Revolution began.
И мое знакомство с университетом убеждает, что университет делает впечатляющий рывок в новое информационное общество.
And my stay here has convinced me that your university is making yet another leap forward in the new technological revolution.
Впечатляет деятельность научного парка университета.
I was particularly impressed by the work of the science park of the university in Wolverhampton.
И я еще раз убеждаюсь, что не зря в университетах изучают фундаментальные науки.
And I became convinced yet more that one of the most important functions of a university is the function of developing science.
У нас есть все основания говорить, что развитие университетов европейских лежит в основе всей человеческой цивилизации, современной.
And I'm quite convinced that an important building block in the development of human civilization has been the development of European universities.
И этим можно гордиться.
And this is something we can be proud of.
Особенно молодым людям,
Especially for the young people
которые приходят и заканчивают университет.
who come here, study at university and obtain their degrees and diplomas.
Я еще раз благодарю ученый совет за столь высокую честь для меня.
I would like once more to thank the academic board of this university for the high honor they have done me.
Уверяю, что это большое событие для нашего молодого сибирского университета.
And I would like to point out that this is a great honor for our young Siberian university.
И в последние годы программа сотрудничества между Тюменским и Уолхэмптонским университетом получает очень широкое всестороннее развитие.
And our program of cooperation with Wolverhampton has been developing very rapidly and strongly over the last few years.
Уолхэмптонский университет является учредителем школы бизнеса при нашем университете.
Wolverhampton is a joint founder of the School of Business in the University of Tumen.
Мы договорились о создании международного лингвистического центра при нашем университете.
We have also made an agreement about the setting up of a joint language center.
И реализация этих проектов немыслима без активного сотрудничества с Уолхэмптонским университетом.
These ideas could in no way have been put forward without the expectation of serious help from Wolverhampton University.
Еще раз спасибо.
Thank you once again.
Процветание Уолхэмптонского университету.
I wish that University of Wolverhampton should flourish in future.
Благополучия, счастья и здоровья всем профессорам университета.
Good health and success to all the professors of the university.
Спасибо большое.
I call upon Mr. Brooks, Pro-Vice-Chancellor and Clerk to the Board of Governors, to present Mr. Neville Soper for the conferment of an honorary doctorate of technology, to which Mr. Soper will respond.
Lord Shrewsbury, I have the honour to present Neville Allen Soper, on whom the Board of Governors and the Academic Board wish to confer an honorary doctorate of technology. Neville Soper has made a unique contribution to the development of the University of Wolverhampton. As a governor for the past 22 years, he has participated at the highest level in the formulation of the policies and the creation of the conditions which have fostered the establishment of this university as a leading provider of higher education regionally, nationally and internationally. Throughout this long association with initially the Polytechnic Wolverhampton, which in 1974 had fewer than 5,000 students, and latterly the University of Wolverhampton, which today has some 23,000 students, Neville Soper has, in an unobtrusive, unfailingly courteous, yet forceful manner, had a considerable influence on the sense of purpose and on the character of this institution and on its role in the community. For he has, through his personal qualities, earned the respect and the admiration of everyone involved in the life and work of the university who knows him. One of the defining features of Neville's service as a governor is the depth of his commitment and dedication. Assiduous in the performance of his duties, he has given generously of his time to contribute to the work of the Board of Governors and its committees, to support the corporate activities of the university, and to represent its interests to the wider community. He has taken a special interest in securing resources for the work of the Students' Union and of the chaplaincy. In Neville Soper, the university has a loyal friend who champions its cause enthusiastically, but, as the Vice-Chancellor and your clerk to the Board of Governors can testify, not uncritically. His advice is respected because of his understanding of the university's needs, his rigorous analysis of the issues involved, and his balanced assessment of the options available. Because he values the maintenance of high standards in every activity, professional and personal, Neville does not readily accept a proposed policy or course of action. But once persuaded of the correctness of a recommendation, he gives it wholehearted support with a determination that it shall achieve success. In 1985, an honorary fellowship of the Polytechnic Wolverhampton was conferred upon Neville in recognition of his services to the Polytechnic over a period of 11 years. His response to that award was entirely characteristic of the man. Whilst appreciative of the honour, he was modest about his achievements, and he was certainly not content to rest on his laurels. Throughout his life, Neville Soper has displayed a clear sense of duty to the community, and so, with a vigour that belied his years, he faced up to new challenges, and such has always been Neville's style. In 1942, Neville, just 17 and not yet shaving regularly, was offered a place at Edinburgh University to read engineering. It was then a reserved occupation which would have exempted him from military service in the war. But he chose instead to enlist as a sapper in the Royal Engineers. Selected for officer training, he served in India and Burma, and affectionately known, I understand, to his platoon of men from the Punjab as Chota Saab, baby boss, was promoted captain at the age of 21. Military intelligence duties took him to remote areas which were ill-suited for quiet study, but through an unforgettable distance learning experience, he prepared again for university entrance. And demobilized, he gained his degree of Bachelor of Science with honours in civil engineering at the University of Birmingham, and in 1950 joined the construction division of the Tarmac Group as site engineer at an open-cast coal mine in Lancashire. He was appointed Director of Tarmac Civil Engineering Limited in 1959, and for the whole of his career thereafter held board-level appointments with wide-ranging responsibilities within the Tarmac Group. Neville earned an enviable reputation as a civil engineer nationally and internationally. He can rightly be proud of his accomplishments in, as his institution puts it, the art of directing the great sources of power in nature for the use and convenience of man. He has for many years been prominent in the industry at large, serving the Federation of Civil Engineering Contractors as chairman of the Midland section from 1982 to 1984, chairman of the National Council 1987 and 88, and chairman of the External Affairs Committee from 1981 to 1986. In 1987-8, he was also a member of the Council of the Confederation of British Industry, and from 1985 to 1989, he was a member of the Infrastructure Policy Group of the Institution of Civil Engineers. On being appointed Chairman of Governors in 1987, Neville faced a Herculean task, which must have made him yearn for the relative comfort of the foothills of the Himalayas. Not only was Wolverhampton Polytechnic preparing to merge with West Midlands College of Higher Education, but both institutions were preparing for their incorporation as independent higher education corporations. The legislative and bureaucratic arrangements were complex and confusing, so that for a year both institutions had two governing bodies operating simultaneously. Negotiations had to be conducted with three, quite understandably reluctant local education authorities for the transfer of assets, rights, liabilities, the extent and nature of which were uncertain. The governors were responsible for a budget of some £35 million, yet they weren't entrusted with a chequebook. These were interesting times, and the chairman of governors was equal to the challenges they presented. It was very much due to his dedication and leadership that a possibility became a reality, that the incorporation and the merger of the Polytechnic and the college were effected successfully, and that the necessary resources and structures were available to enable the institution to satisfy the rapidly increasing demand for higher education, whilst simultaneously securing the quality of provision expected of the emergent university. Although he retired from the chairmanship in 1990, Neville has continued to serve as a governor with unflagging enthusiasm. He's also a governor of the Thomas Telford School and was appointed chairman of that school in 1995. And he still finds the time and the energy to ski in the Alps for several weeks every year. The award of this honorary doctorate is a mark of the warm affection of governors, staff and students for Neville, and of the esteem in which he is held by the university and by the wider community. His wife Patricia has summarised it well. I admit considerable bias, but it's clear that whether as a young soldier, a dedicated member of the tarmac team, a representative of the industry, or a participant in the world of education, Neville has always given of his best. Chancellor, it is my privilege to present Neville Allen Soper for the conferment of the honorary degree of Doctor of Technology of the University of Wolverhampton.
Chancellor, Governors, Vice-Chancellor, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, what can I say after that? Well, you know what they say about praise. It's all right if you don't inhale. Mr. Brooks has said some very kind words about me, for which I thank him. There has been, as you might guess from the details he's been able to give about my earlier years, a benign conspiracy between him and my wife, which I became aware of a few weeks ago, and which has clearly manifested itself today. Firstly, I'd like to express my gratitude to the governors, the staff, and in particular the academic board for the great honour they've done me today. It is for me a proud moment which I shall remember for the rest of my days. Standing here, I'm reminded of a story attributed to the late Lord Burkitt about an English visitor addressing the students at Harvard. He took as his theme each of the letters, H-A-R-V-A-R-D, and spoke for 10 minutes on H for honesty, 10 minutes on A for ambition, R for reliability, V for virtue, and so on. Then came an audible voice from the rear of the hall which said, "Thank God we're not at the Massachusetts Institution of Technology." Well, this institution has a long title, but I don't propose to copy that speaker. I believe the Chinese have a saying which goes, "May you live in interesting times." I've never been able to work out whether that's a blessing or a curse. What I do know is that we've had plenty of interesting times of one sort or another during my time here, as Geoffrey Brooks has said. Of course, at the more mundane level of, for example, committee work, important and necessary as it always is, it wasn't always riveting and interesting. Somebody once defined a committee as a group of people who keep minutes and waste hours. Others have called committees groups of the unfit appointed by the uninformed to do the unnecessary. Now, I like to think we never quite fitted those definitions. As Geoffrey Brooks has told you, it was during my time as chairman that we moved from local authority control to independence. It's to the credit of the Vice-Chancellor and his management team that this transition was effected swiftly and with minimum fuss to emerge finally on the sunny uplands of independence, metaphorically mounted, booted and spurred, ready for the challenge of competition and expansion. Since that time, this institution has doubled. Again, to the credit of the executive team, the necessary physical accommodation and the required staff were by and large correctly anticipated and made available in a timely manner. Nor, in my view, has quality of provision suffered, supervised as it is by the academic board, who know very well that the long-term future of this university depends on their guardianship of our standards. They know, as I know from my long industrial experience, that employers have a pecking order of quality of output from universities. They know the good schools and they know the good departments involved in the disciplines of which they have need. We have many such here. Apart from the more mature of you here, and therefore the more experienced students, you are all about to leave here and face an unknown world. At your stage all those years ago, I knew it all. Now I know nothing except that life is a progressive discovery of our own ignorance. For all that, education has two objectives: education for living and education for making a living. It is to discipline rather than to furnish the mind, to train it to use its own powers rather than fill it with the accumulation of others. It comprises the knowledge not so much of fact, but of values. Perhaps the most valuable result of all is the ability to make yourself do the thing you have to do when it ought to be done, whether you like it or not. In other words, you need to be self-disciplined, a self-starter, a key attribute to success in life. I hope that some of what I've just outlined has been acquired by all of you during your time at Wolverhampton. If so, you're on your way to success in all your future undertakings. There is, however, one ingredient you also need for a successful career, and that's a little bit of luck. The historians amongst you will know that when his staff recommended a new appointment to Napoleon, his first question was, has he luck? He preferred lucky commanders to necessarily efficient ones. A prolonged exposure to educated people leads me to the realization that nothing can ever be said again better than it has been said before. So I'll now hold my tongue except to express the hope that the doors of opportunity that have been opened for you here, combined with your share of luck, will lead to success for all of you in the future. Good luck to you all.
The university's resident ensemble. I now ask Mr. Vaughan, Head of Credit Systems, to present the award winners from the Centre for Corporate Academic Development. Mr. Vaughan.
Chancellor, I present to you the graduands from the Credit Accumulation and Transfer Scheme. Graduating with Bachelor of Arts, Honours, Kate Elizabeth Allen, Regina Bergdolt, and Anne-Marie Bodenham. Terry Reginald Brown, Margaret Ann Burton. Joanne Leslie Butler, Roslyn Mary Cass. And graduating with first class honours, Dawn Ann Darby. Rachel Helen Doughty, Claire Victoria Flavel, and Ruth Frances Guy. Christopher Hardwick Garner and Joginder Kaur. Gillian Miranda Knowles, Satish Patel, Graham John Raymond. Anita Redfern, Amarjit Susan Sidhu. Annette Patricia Thomas, Susan Jane Wright. And Bachelor of Science with honours, David Hadley, John Macmillan, Bernadette Elizabeth O'Brien. Bachelor of Arts, Claire Mary Brennan, Susan Mary Brooks, Joan Helen Kennedy. Jason Miles Perlant and Elka Martina Trantareven. And a Diploma of Higher Education, Jayesh Mistry. And that concludes the graduates from the Credit Accumulation and Transfer Scheme.
Professor Hurd, the head of the School of Humanities and Social Sciences, will present award winners from the school. Professor Hurd.
Chancellor, I present to you the graduates, diplomates and recipients of awards from the School of Humanities and Social Sciences. For the award of Bachelor of Arts Honours, Modular Degree and Diploma Scheme Full-Time, Martin James Langston, Catherine Elizabeth Lansbury, Piers Leary. Shelley Ann Leeson, Mark Darren Leonard, Anthony Paul Lloyd. Mei Ling Law, Rebecca Hazel Lord, Ian Paul Lovering. Karen Marie Lucy, Karen Leslie McDivitt, Suzanne Margaret Machen. Richard Mann, Tracy Jane Marnes, Mary Louise Matty. Lucy Jane Maudsley, Denise Davina Maxwell. Carol Ann MacDonnell, Shal Louise McKee. Melanie Rose Mackenzie, Catherine Elizabeth McEwen, Sally Messenger. Richard David Merrick, Tanya Marie Miles, Nadine Donna Mills. Claire Minter, Gaynor Makata, Anna Lorraine Moneypenny. Alvaro Moreno de la Santa, James Richard Morley. Lara Janine Moss, Rupert John Mould, Jacques Clement Moulin. Marion Mavis Mulvaney, David Paul Murphy. Deborah Murphy, First Class Honours. Sarah Jane Murray, Victoria Helen Nagel. Anne Laura Munro Nelson, Jane Louise Newton, Victoria Claire Talbot Nisdale. Linda Nourish, Janet Mary O'Brien, Christopher O'Connor. Stephen O'Connor, First Class Honours. Patricia Ann O'Malley, Claire Louise Onion, Rebecca Susan Osborne. Rachel Ann Oxley, Gail Elizabeth Ann Palmer, Timothy John Parks. Simon Michael Parr, Joanne Sheila Parry. Kirsten Parton, Donna Marie Georgina Patterson, Andrew Emmanuel Pierce. John Dennis Penny-Larter, Rebecca Lucy Jane Perks, Stuart Patrick Petrie. Peter James Phillips, Deborah Margaret Pike, Lindsay Emma Pike. Alison Martina Potter, Aaron Paul Potts, Nicola Jane Powell. Vanessa Amelia Preble, Amanda Elizabeth Price, Deborah Louise Prosser. Michael Brian Reeves, First Class Honours. Jessica Ruth Reynolds, Paul Stephen Rice, David Samuel Richardson. Sharon Marie Robbins, Anita Elizabeth Roberts. Paul Francis Robinson, Sarah Beatrice Robinson, Angela Robson. Ailsa Helen Rowe, Angela Rogers, Barbara Jean Rogers. Tony Louise Rosendale, Sheena Victoria Ross. Nicola Louise Rowe, Nicola Jane Roy. James Robert Ryle, Kenton James Samuels. Elaine Alice Scruton, Samantha Lee Seal. Pritpal Singh Sembi, Paula Michelle Denise Sargent. Marion Edith Sexton, First Class Honours. Joyce Shamaji, Laura Josephine Shaw, Lucinda Ann Shaw. Angela Leslie Sherwood, Katie Jane Simmons. Julie Mary Skelding, First Class Honours. Kevin Martin Slight, Thomas William Small. Giles Anthony Suarez, Anne Elizabeth Solomon. Claire Jane Solomon, Derek Richard Stalley. Lindsay Stanley, Joanne Marie Stevens, Charlotte Stevens. Leela Stewart, Caroline Ann Stiff, Thomas Stokes. Byron Aaron Kingsley Taylor, Gary Taylor. Amber Marie Thompson, Christopher Martin Tibble, Betty Tolley. Claire Victoria Townend, Suzanne Prowler, Jill Turner. Catherine Varney, Kelly Ann Vigor. Frederick David Voisey, Trudy Victoria Wakeham, Catherine Ann Walsh. Sean Francis Walsh, Victoria Maureen Warner, Alison Waterhouse. Rosalind Watkiss, Michelle Andrea Watts, Andrew Michael Way. Michael John Robert West, Joanna Stacey Westbrook, Rebecca Marie Wheeler. Zoe Marie Wheeler, Trevor John Wigley, Robert Williams. Julie Ann Wilson. For the Bachelor of Arts Honours Modular Degree in Diploma Scheme part-time, Bridget Langham, Trevor Anthony Lewis, John Carroll Norbury. Kathleen Susan Ray, Mark John Sedgwick, Ruth Sharon Sedgwick. Giles Robin Smith, Gary Mark Turner, Ursuline Alison Whittle. Sean William Thomas Wilkinson, Stuart Alexander Winfrey. For the award of Bachelor of Science Honours Modular Degree in Diploma Scheme full-time, Jacqueline Elizabeth Powell, Jeffrey Robert Taylor. For the award of Diploma of Higher Education Combined Studies full-time, John Slater, William Martin O'Connor. For the award of Certificate of Higher Education Combined Studies full-time, Laurel Emancia Robinson. For the award of the Black Country Diploma in Social Work with Diploma of Higher Education Applied Social Studies full-time, Merunisa Melanie Berry, Michael Norris Davidson, Barbara Rosemary Ann Egan, Paulette Claire Fairclough. Patricia Ruth Foster, Paul Anthony Granger, Suzanne Josephine Herschel. Thelma Erica Hibbert, Nicola Jones, Shamim Akhtar Khan. Santosh Kumari, Janet Marie Taylor, Amanda Jane Wilkinson. Joy Mercedes Williams, Ruth Mary Williams. For the award of the Black Country Practice Teachers Programme and Postgraduate Certificate, Social Work Education Part-Time, Gloria May John, Sandra Mary Matthews, Graham Stewart Tuckley. For the BA Honours Modular Degree and Diploma Scheme, Eileen Short, Janet Rooms, Derek Charles Smith. Gary Taylor, Stuart Yilmaz, Janet Joyce McCallum. And for the award of the Diploma in Social Work, Andrea Price. For the award of BA Honours Credit Accumulation and Transfer Scheme, Paramjit Kaur, Rani Massi. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of finalists receiving awards from the School of Humanities and Social Sciences.
I'd now like to invite Lee Lyons, President of the Students' Union, to address you.
My Lord, Vice-Chancellor, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, diplomats, graduates. The University of Wolverhampton is relatively new in terms of university status. However, in its short history, it has managed to develop a reputation far beyond its years. Many of our schools are amongst the finest in the country, and we are now beginning to receive the recognition we deserve. But student life is not only about academia. In today's economic climate, the market demands a high level of personal transferable skills. These skills are not only learnt in the classrooms and lecture theatres, but also in life. Together with the university, the Students' Union have created an environment where students can develop both personally and within their community, learning the type of communication skills that they can then transfer to the workplace. However, the fundamental reason why the Students' Union and the university have been able to develop and expand are as a result of the achievements of every single person here today. Not only those of you who are here to collect your awards, but also those of you who've helped and supported your loved ones, friends and families throughout their time as a student. Much emphasis has been placed on the political debate surrounding higher education funding. While I do not wish to dwell on this issue, I do feel obliged to highlight its importance. Needless to say, student life is no longer the easy ride it once was. Bills, rents, overdrafts are just as important as essay deadlines. Everybody here today has overcome these obstacles and can now move forward to the job market with the knowledge that they've achieved something special. But enough of this sensible stuff. Student life is an experience. It's about building friendships. It's about building a community. No other campus, more so than Dudley, epitomises that. It's about creating a future, and it quite often involves alcohol. I hope you all have a great night tonight. No doubt tomorrow's hangover will be a clear indication of that. Wherever you come from, no matter how old or young, your success is being honoured here today, and on behalf of the Students' Union, I'd like to add my congratulations. Just before I leave, I'd like to read you a quote by Oscar Wilde. He says, "To get back my youth, I'd do anything in the world, except take exercise, get up early, or be respectable." Finally, I'd just like to thank everyone involved in today's ceremony, and I'd especially like to thank all of those of you who've travelled to Dudley to join in the celebrations. Good luck and all the best in your future. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I should too like to add my own congratulations to those expressed by Lee Lyons, to all those of you who have been presented at this congregation. The University is proud to celebrate your endeavour, achievement and excellence. Continue to enjoy your day, and I wish you every possible success for the future. I now have to make one or two domestic announcements. Firstly, for those of you who have tickets, the meal will be served in the refectory at the Dudley campus Castle View immediately after this ceremony. And whether or not you're attending that meal, there will be a welcome for you all at the campus and in the Students' Union bar. So do take advantage of that opportunity, which today offers for you to renew friendships with fellow graduates and staff. All finalists are asked to return your academic gowns, hoods and caps to the robing room at the campus or to the dressing rooms here in the town hall as soon as possible after the ceremony. Certificates may be collected from the Great Hall at the Dudley campus. And finally, whatever your destination for celebration, please have a safe journey home and a very, very successful future. And please remain in your seats until the procession has left the auditorium. I now declare this congregation closed.